Hey, what's up everybody? It's Carl's Collects Comics and I'm back with another top 10 list. This time I'm going to be sharing with you my picks for the top 10 Booster Gold comics to add to your collection. So stay tuned. Hey, so I'm back and this time I'm going to be sharing with you my picks for the top 10 Booster Gold comics to be adding to your collection. Now, Booster Gold is a fun character. A lot of times he's associated with comedy and with the comedic run for the Justice League that happened in the 80s. I think there's a lot more depth to him. I see him as like a character that could be, because essentially he's the Pete Rose of superheroes. And so I just see him being there being so much more depth and fun that can be done with this character. So many different takes, and it can be a big budget take. So I was excited when James Gunn tweeted that the #1 superhero that was suggested to him to be adapted and brought into the new DC universe was Booster Gold. So, because I just think he's a fun character. He's another one of these, like DC just has such a rich library of characters to draw from. Why not pick Booster Gold and then do something with him with any of the Blue Beetles moving forward in the future? So these are my picks for Booster Gold books to add to your collection. Number 10 on my list is Booster Gold number 11 from Volume 1. So this is the this was just kind of a funny addition. It's not like, it's super cheap, so you do with your money what you will. But I added this because I just couldn't get over the idea of this being the first appearance of the Booster Mobile. It's just so much fun. Such a fun 80s. So 80s that it's 80s. I couldn't resist including it on this list for obvious reasons. It's just a silly, fun addition. But if you're looking to build up your Booster Gold collection, why not? I mean, I don't think it's a big deal the Booster Mobile, but hey, this will be a fun part of your collection. So I'm setting the Target collector's price for this book, or for this back issue, at $3 to $5 in near mint condition. You really shouldn't be paying more than that for this one. And yeah, he just looks so dope on the cover, cruising along in his convertible like that. And so yeah. So number 9 on my list is from the weekly series that happened. It's in the 2006-2007 range, and that is 52 week 15. So it would be essentially issue number 15 of the weekly series 52. So this has the cover of the Booster Gold Memorial issue featuring the Supernova moniker appearing in Booster Gold's Bloodied Visor. Now, I know this is a massive series with 52 individual issues that were published weekly during that 2006 to 2007 span. It really was a feat in and of itself. So it was a series that was introduced to bridge the gap between the events of Infinite Crisis and, at the time, what DC Comics did with all their regular titles, which was they did a time jump called 1 year later. So every series in the main DC universe, after the first regular issue after Infinite Crisis finished, had the branding 1 year later on it, and it was essentially a time jump. Well, the 52 weekly series was introduced as a way to fill in the gap of what happened during that time jump, because some of the characters were quite a bit different after the 1 year later, and some of them were actually different people, and there was a lot of change. There were some changes that had happened, and they needed a place to tell those stories, and I loved it because weekly comics hadn't happened in a long time before this, and they haven't happened, I don't think, in any great way since then. So 52 was a monumental series. It was really fun, and one of the things I loved about it was that it focused on the lesser known characters of the DC universe, and it actually had a lot of really strong storytelling and artwork, not to mention the cover art by J.G. Jones and Alex Sinclair. So I'm showcasing this particular issue because there really are a lot of really strong Booster Gold moments throughout this series, and I felt like this series actually handled the character very well. Giving, he'd always been more of a comedic character, but they did a lot of interesting things with him and his sidekick Skeets. So it's well worth reading if you've never done it. And the fun part is that if you're looking to just read it, it's been released in 4 volumes since then, trade paperback volumes. I found mine in clearance at Half Price Books for $5 a piece for the first 2, and then the other 2 were I think $10, which was half price. So full retail is $20. So it's a lot of cool story. It's a lot of good material, and there's a lot of fun other characters, including Black Adam, the Renee Montoya version of The Question, the Elongated Man. Just a lot of cool stuff going on in that series, so I do recommend it. So the individual issues from 52 don't generally go for much more than $10 to $15 per issue, even for the biggest keys in the run. But most of them, including this one, can be found readily for $5 or so, and that's my target collector's price point. You can probably even find bricks sold in a lot of local comic shops that will collect the entire run for you of all 52 books. And in that case, paying around $125 for the entire run is well worth it in my opinion, because it means that you don't have to go out and try to find all the individual issues. It is going to be totally up to you. Like if you're a fan of any of the main 6 characters that are showcased during that series, John Henry Irons, or aka Steel, was also another one of them. But if you're a fan of any of those characters, it doesn't feature any of the big 3 or any of the major characters. It features lesser used characters, and so if you're a fan of any of those, it is absolutely a must-have, because it does a really good, like I said, a really good job of showcasing some of these lesser used characters. So number 8 on my list is Infinite Crisis number 4. This is the first meeting of Booster Gold and the 3rd Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes. Now most wouldn't consider this even adding value to a collection, but being both a Booster Gold and a Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle fan, I had to include this on my list. Infinite Crisis is arguably the last great Crisis event series produced by DC Comics. Absolutely not Dark Crisis, but I'm not going to get started on that. Infinite Crisis is well worth picking up the entire series, and not just this issue. My target collector price for issue number 4, though, is right about $8 to $10 in near mint condition. The price may already be creeping up though, so watch for bargains. And again, as mentioned before, if you're looking for entire storylines, bricks are a great way to get those. It's not always the highest grade copies of the books, but you can get the complete storyline sometimes for much less than even a trade paperback version. Alright, remember, as always, this is a modern book, and it did have a massive print run, so don't run around, don't pay a premium for this book. Number 7 on my list is Booster Gold number 16 from Volume 1. So this is just, it's a cover buy, and it's a really cool one because it was a negative space Booster Gold cover by Dan Jurgens well before, John Tyler Christopher hit the stratosphere with a lot of his negative space variants that have been released over the past 3, 4, 5 years. So this, again, like I said, definitely a cover buy. And when I picked up my copy, I did so with the intention to get Dan Jurgens to sign it, Witness, to be slabbed by CGC for that yellow label signature series. This is just going to look so sharp with the book, and then his signature in like a yellow paint marker would just be, it would look so nice. So my target collector's price for a raw copy of this book is $5 to $8 in near mint condition, and I think I found mine at least a 9.4 before press and clean, probably a 9.6, and I found mine I think for $3 or $4 on sale. So again, they're not super expensive. I saw on eBay a lot that included this book and some others. I think it was like 8 books for like $14. So readily available. Again, don't pay a premium for it. Number 6 on my list of the top 10 Booster Gold comics to add to your collection is Booster Gold number 2 from Volume 1. So again, I'm including a second appearance for a character. Oftentimes second appearances, like I've said before, are overlooked except for major characters. And this is another one that's no different. It's a readily available back issue, but a good one to have if you're a fan of Booster Gold or want a fun, affordable Copper Age title to build a complete run of without breaking the bank. My target collector's price that I'm setting for a raw copy of this book is $5 to $6 in near mint condition. Again, $5 to $6 for a high grade copy of the book is the target price that I would aim for. Number 5 on my list, again, this is another fun edition, was Blue and Gold number 1, volume 1. So this is a team-up series featuring Blue Beetle teaming up with Booster Gold for more adventuring, more fun, and it's another short-lived series that you can generally find in most back issue bins. Now my target collector price would be $5 in high grade or near mint condition, but some might consider that to be overpaying, especially in this economy. That being said, I don't really see dollar bins anymore. I see a lot of dollar bins becoming $2 bins. But this is a book that is readily available. You shouldn't pay a premium for it. It's a fun edition, and it was a short-lived series, so it might be worth picking up the whole run for it. Number 4 on my list is Justice League number 4 from. No, that's not. I think it was volume. Oh yeah. It is volume 1, but just the Justice League title, not Justice League of America. So Justice League number 4, volume 1. Booster Gold joins the Justice League. So this is an iconic moment in the life of the character and worth adding to the collection. This issue sees Booster Gold proving his mettle to the Justice League as they're debating his involvement in future. It's a fun issue and was part of the building up of a new league by creative team Giffen and DeMatteis. The target collector price that I'm setting for this one is $3 to $5 for a near mint raw copy. Again, not a super expensive book at all, but a fun, significant moment in the life of the character. So number 3 on my list is Booster Gold number 1, volume 2. Alright, so the second self-titled Booster Gold series had some fun ideas, concepts, and issues buried within, but it's a generally forgotten or overlooked series. It was tied very strongly to Infinite Crisis and the 52 weekly series. So it was a continuation and conclusion of some of the leftover plot threads from Booster Gold's time-traveling adventures during the 52 weekly series, like I said. It was one of the 52 new titles launched or relaunched at the conclusion of the Infinite Crisis event series. It was a short-lived series, so I can recommend picking it up if you're a fan or would like to shore up your Booster Gold collection. Any of the issues except for number 5 can usually be found for $5 or so in back issue bins that haven't been picked over. So that's my target collector price for number 1 and for most of the other issues in the run. Issue number 5 is a Joker cover, and it's an homage to the Killing Joke cover, that iconic cover. So you're going to be up against a lot of other collectors who just collect Joker covers, and there are a lot of them. And this is one that has been, people are aware of it. It's getting picked out. Like, I'll see runs in local comic shops of the entire Booster Gold series, missing only number 1 and 5. So but it's good. That's a cool run. It's a fun run to read and to pick up, especially if you're from that era or from that period of time around Infinite Crisis in the 52 weekly series. Number 2 on my list is Booster Gold number 6, volume 1, The Origin of Booster Gold. So his origin issue makes a perfect pair with the first comic on this list. It's well worth picking up, and with a target collector's price of only $18 for a high-grade raw copy, why not find a copy or two? It's definitely a good book to have if you're a fan. And yes, I did set the target collector price a little bit higher. I think $15 is a good solid price, fair price for this book. but I did set it at 18 because this is Origin. There's a lot of extra information and exposition that's shared, so it is worth having in your collection. Now, as of the recording of this video, I did see multiple copies available on eBay. I did see even one lot of 4 copies that are said to be high grade. You know, you never know on eBay, but they're said to be high grade, and those, all 4 copies of that, I think are being sold for like $50. So, yeah, you know, do with that what you will. So, number 1 on my list of the top 10 Booster Gold comics to add to your collection is Booster Gold #1 from Volume 1. So this is the first appearance, first issue, and first cover appearance of Booster Gold. It's also the first appearance of Skeets, Trixie Collins, and Blackguard. And you know, he's such a fun, beloved character that it's well worth picking up a copy of his first appearance. Even if you're not necessarily a fan, you know, we've seen a lot of attention and churning going on around this character since James Gunn tweeted about him. We don't know if he's going to be utilized in DC moving forward, but what I do know is that it is a very affordable character to buy into. And so if you're looking for some fun DC Copper and Bronze Age material to sink your teeth into, Booster Gold is definitely one that's recommended because, like I've said before, he is like the Pete Rose of the DC universe. You know, I did make note to make sure and remind everyone that you got to think kind of long term with some of these, because let's be honest, Iron Man wasn't Iron Man until Robert Downey Jr. put on the suit and made him an A-list Marvel character. Iron Man was never really considered an A-list Marvel character. Some might have considered him as low as maybe a C-list character. I've always loved the character, but he didn't ever hit the same level of popularity as Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, or even Captain America. You know, Iron Man was always one of the he was always a couple of rungs down the ladder, but Marvel, you know, he was one that they had, and they felt like they could tell a compelling story with him, and bam, look, now he was played by, who was arguably one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. The role made him, and he made the role, you know, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. So I just want to do that because when we talk about A-list characters, sometimes a small thing can make a big difference in that. So I put here that you know, Robert Downey Jr. hit a grand slam home run with his performance, and Jon Favreau kickstarted the MCU with the original Iron Man film. You know, Booster Gold could easily become a major character with the right lead actor, script, and director behind it. So the book is definitely plentiful. Alright, copies can be had for as low as $12. I picked up one of my copies at that price. It's maybe a 6.5 you know, in grade, so it's about a mid-grade copy, and it was only $12, and it was still sitting in the back issue bin. There's no shortage of copies out there, so I'm setting the target collector's price for this book at $40 for a very high-grade raw copy. It has I don't think I paid over $28 for any of my individual copies that I bought. I think I have like 4 or 5 of them. And even the highest grade one I didn't pay over $28 for at the time. You know, there has been some increase in it with the, kind of the murmuring around him. So I added a little bit and said $40 for a high grade raw copy, and by that I mean a 9.6 or a 9.8 contender. You know, that may seem low, but a graded CGC 9.8 copy is listed on eBay for only $350 or best offer. For a character of that age, and you know, that's a pretty low price. Well, I mean, I think it's probably a fairly high price, but you know, the bottom line is there's a lot of copies out there of this book. Maybe not graded, but you know, it hasn't been one that a lot of people have looked at grading for. So you know, he currently isn't a significant character, but he has enormous potential. And this one may be worth picking up for you. So those were my top 10 Booster Gold comics to add to your collection. Make sure and like the video if you enjoyed this content. Make sure and leave a comment below. Is there anything that I missed out on? Any issues that I should have included? Anything that you just want to share about this character and your thoughts about it? I'd love to hear it, and I am still making an effort to respond to every single comment that somebody leaves. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, but you like the video, why not subscribe? Go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell while you're thinking about it, while you're in the midst of doing that. I'm Carl's Collects Comics, and I've really enjoyed sharing with you these picks because I think it's a fun character and with a bright future and well worth spotlighting with one of these top 10 videos. So this has been the top 10 Booster Gold comics to add to your collection, and I'm Carl's Collects Comics. Have a great night, and I'll see you next time.